So why can't partners sponsor one another?
In a partnership, yes. The fundamental principle is that the partnership is not separate from its partners. So there's an issue there, and also this area has a lot of other laws as well, state and territory laws, as well as legislation and common law principles.
So partnerships aren't governed under federal law?
No, Emily, that's an important distinction. The immigration law talks about, on a separate point though, is federal law. Partnerships, we have to relate to the state law and understand what is possible and what is the law, what is common law, what is the state legislation says about partnerships. South Australia, Northern Territory, ACT and Tasmania, you will not be able to get a successful sponsorship just because, or one of the reasons is that contracts made between partners are considered to be void under common law in those jurisdictions. But this situation is different in Victoria and also in WA, New South Wales, unless the laws have changed in between and I'm not correct. But at this stage, I can say in Victoria, if a partnership will be able to, of course, given that the other criteria are met, so there are no issues, partnership becoming standard business sponsors. Yeah.
Okay. Can we talk about not-for-profit organisations?
Yes, the important question there to ask is whether the organisation is incorporated or unincorporated, because if you're unincorporated, of course, you're not a separate legal entity, and the issues that we've talked about will come again. And if you're incorporated, there is a possibility.
So let's talk about different business arrangements, such as trusts.
The terms of the trust arrangement are in the trust deed. So we have to look into the trust deed. Again, the operation of the trusts is governed by state and territory legislation. And in most situations, the usual structure is a family trust. And the trustee is usually a company, a limited liability company. So, Emily, the trust deed stipulates how the income is to be distributed among beneficiaries, and it's more a fiduciary relationship. The relationship, and trust is not a person, but the
can
trustee.
It still be part of the 457?
In a way, the trustee acting for the trust can be an incorporated entity, and that entity has the ability as an incorporated entity, has the potential to become a standard business sponsor. So if that is the situation, yes, it can be approved, that particular entity, that's the incorporated entity, can be approved as a standard business sponsor.
So what's the next stage after getting the sponsorship?
Yes, that's a good question, because I didn't clarify the stages in a 457 visa. The sponsor needs to be approved as a standard business sponsor. Then also the nomination part, it's also to the employer. So the employer needs to become the approved standard business sponsor, as well as need to do the nomination application. That is nominating the person he wants to nominate, that is the employee. Then the visa applicant applies. That's the overseas person, or the you can't say non-resident, that's the non-Australian.
The person who's going to become the employee.
Yes, the person who will become the employee. So you can lodge all these three applications in one go, or you can start with the employer side first, that's the sponsorship and the nomination first, and then when it is successful, you might want to lodge the visa application. So based on the advice you receive, you can decide your strategy.
So Dinesh, what are your final tips or points for people and sponsors looking to go with the 457?
Yep. Under the 457 visa, there are many streams or a few streams. So you need to identify which stream that you can fit into and which category and how. And if that is the case, if the requirements can be met, the visa is normally granted. So I also suggest a submission highlighting how you meet the requirements to be submitted to the case officers to make their lives easy. Otherwise, we'll be asked questions by the department. So if you do a decision-ready application, it would make things easy for the applicants as well as to the department.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. I'd like to thank the panel for joining us. To catch up on all our past episodes, you can go to our website www.lawhelpaustralia.org, or you can go to our YouTube channel, just type in Law Help Australia. If you'd like to submit an idea for discussion or to participate in our panel, you can email us at info@lawhelpaustralia.org. Thank you and see you next time.